Not a not a
Bruce
my,
Males.
not a rookie anymore.
You're not a rookie anymore?
Not a rookie anymore. What up,
What?
buddy?
You're not a rookie anymore, Bruce. You're an old man.
I am. I have been. I'm a seasoned veteran. Now when it
Yes, you
comes.
are. How
Now
you
when it
doing,
comes.
Bruce?
Oh, hanging in there. I was just saying. Now when it comes to this shit, I'm not a seasoned veteran. But
That's
I
okay.
I pretend to be. I pretend to be.
You fake it till you make it, right?
There you go. There's a lot of faking. That's what she said. Oh God.
Starting off strong, Bruce. You are right. This is gonna be a good show.
Told you. I had a feeling. I had a feeling about this show that we were gonna have some pretty solid interactions there, and it starts with
So,
that.
okay. So my story of the day is Bradley has loosened some restrictions because we've had like 9 total COVID cases since we got here in like the last month. COVID does not exist on this campus right now. Like it's not
Nine
here.
cases. How many people are on that campus? Legit. How many people are on?
Over 2,000.
So 9. So that percentage is insanely small.
It's like a tenth of a percent. It's tiny. Well,
Right.
okay, so 100th. Math is hard. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we've had some restrictions loosened. So
Right.
today I was able to play some one-on-one basketball. I was able to play some last night too.
1-on-1.
Yeah, so just some light ones, nothing too crazy. So we played last night. I split with the guy I was playing, Matty K. Split one, and he got one, I got one.
These guys
Then
play.
what's up?
All right. So there are a few things that have to be asked here.
Okay, so it's ones and twos,
Okay.
one shot, no rebounding.
Make it take it.
Yes.
One shot, no rebounding. So I can't get an offensive rebound.
No.
Okay.
Because it
I like-
makes you take your best shot, and if you miss, the other guy gets the ball.
Sounds like lazy, but it's okay.
I mean, a little bit, but part of it is like, okay, I don't want to be like sprinting after rebounds. Like, okay, that's for when we're playing fives. This is you're working on ISO ball. You're not working on
ISO.
getting rebounds.
So
That's for a different day. So yesterday,
hold on. I got to ask one more question.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
one more question.
I got one more question. I know you're going, like, this is great and all. And congratulations to you for finally playing some one-on-one basketball.
Yes.
But I personally don't see, if I walk into a gym to play basketball and I see a guy rocking a Green Bay Packers t-shirt, glasses, hat backwards, kind of, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm whooping your ass.
I will say earlier, I was wearing a tank top. I had my Warriors hat on, but I have my basketball shoes on. Like, I have basketball specific shoes.
Fair.
And to be clear, I never claimed to be a basketball player. I've always said I do basketball for the workout because it's a very good workout. It's a lot of fun, and I go into it because obviously I'm a baseball player. I go into it not expecting to win. I just want to go out there, get a good workout. Obviously, I'm very competitive, so I'm going to do my best to win. But at the end of the day, if I lose, I got a good workout in, hung out with the boys for a little bit, whatever. So last night I split one. I got one. Other guy got one. Today I played with my friend Dalton. He has not played basketball as much. Hopefully Dalton's not watching so he doesn't kill me for talking about this. But yeah, I locked him down. First game, 12-0.
What?
12-0.
How did you lose to him in the second game then?
No, today I got 12-0. Last night it was like both of the games were like 11-10, 11-9.
Okay.
Was last night. But today, first game, 12-0. Second game, he got out to a 7-1 lead. Because, Dalton is a bigger dude. So normally I just let him shoot. And normally
he posted your ass up. He's like
no, he hit three twos.
Ooh.
And normally he doesn't do that 3 in a row. He got 1 point because he got the ball. I missed I shot for the ball. I missed. And then he got 1 point, got a nice little mid-range on me, and then 3 straight from deep. I was like, okay, so then I had to start playing defense. And then I got 1 point, so it was 7-1. And then I went on an 11-point run. I scored 11 straight without giving up a bucket.
Even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while.
And Dalton found 3 in a row, and then I stopped.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you. But yeah, I just wanted to say, for all the good people out there, I may be able to talk about basketball.
But you sure as hell can't play it.
No, not at all. No,
Oh,
not really.
that was
No.
not at
So
all
so
where I
I
was going.
I'm kind of the 3 and D kind of guy, right? I'm a bigger dude, so I can cover some ground. I
You
get
are
some
a big guy.
rebounds,
You are a big
and
guy. You
when
are a big
I'm
guy.
by myself and I get catch and shoot, I'll knock it down. Um, the handles are a little bit suspect. I'll be
That's,
honest.
I mean, again, when I walk into the gym and I see a guy wearing a Green Bay Packers t-shirt, glasses, and a hat backwards, kind of effed up looking, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm whooping your ass.
What
However,
what do you
me
want my hat to look like? What?
again, oh, just hear me out. However, when I see you in person too, though, like you're a big dude though.
Yeah.
You're a tall cup of coffee.
Yeah. I
So
mean I'm 6'3", so I got some length to me.
right. You're a tall dude. So like I might pick you on my team just to make sure you can rebound and all that jazz.
Yeah.
You board the ball and toss me in. I'm cool with it.
And I'll be honest, when I play fives, when I play full court, I don't I don't take the ball a lot. Like I never take the ball up the court unless it's passed to me. I know my role and I play my role.
You know your strengths
I
is
do.
what.
And once in a while, I'll get hot from deep and I'll get going on the catch and shoot, but that is very rare. That's like a 1 in 25 games. I'll
Hey,
get going
hey,
and I'll hit like 4 threes and I'm the only one who scores. But
there's
most
a
of the time, it's the passing, it's I do the little things. I don't do the big things at all. I just do the little things.
I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it.
Anyway, so what we're going to be talking about today is we got some NBA going. Rob Schaefer will be joining us at 7:30, so be on the
Yes,
lookout for
hey,
that.
dude, real quick, let's talk about it. Let's do a quick preview to that.
Yes,
Zach LaVine, All-Star for the Chicago Bulls.
very
Thank you.
well deserved.
Finally, that man has improved his game dramatically since he was on the Timber little Timber Kitties. What about Timber Kitties?
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. Well, you got to remember when he was on that team, he
Timber
looked like he was
Pups.
he was on Timber Pups. Yeah, Timber Pups. There were like Carl Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine, and who else was the other big guy on that team at the time?
No one.
Um, no one. Anyone in my in my Twitch chat? Anyone in the Twitch chat? Let me out. Help me out here.
Who was
It
on
was
that team?
Carl Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine. There was a third
Was
young.
Jeff
Oh,
Teague on there?
no, it was crap. I know he went number one overall. He was traded from the or
Oh,
traded
Wiggins.
Wiggins. Thank you. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So that was
Wiggins was on that team. That like
yeah.
now that would be a really good team.
Oh yeah. But now where's Wiggins? Wiggins is in
He's in Golden State. Yeah,
Golden State, yeah.
he's
And Carl
averaging
Anthony Towns
he's averaging like 18, 6, and 4.
still can't shoot.
Can't shoot worth a lick.
But anyway,
Kelly
so
Oubre though,
oh,
he
Ricky
started
Rubio.
he started like 10 for 60 or something like that. Kelly Oubre from
Yeah.
3, and he was 50% in February, or
Wow.
he's 50% so far in February. He is
Wow.
just knocking it down. But what I've noticed, he cannot hit anything other than a corner 3.
To all my Nintendo players out there, whoever has played this video game, there was an NBA game back in the day. Also made fun of on Family Guy. On a 3. It's classic. So if you get a chance, go on YouTube, check that shit out. It's hilarious.
Bruce
But
is
to keep,
speaking to the old people.
hey, nothing wrong with that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, anyone that's younger that watches it and that looks it up on YouTube, shit's funny. Uh,
You right?
But anyway, so what I want to talk about though with Zach LaVine, real quick, before Rob comes on later, is the man's improved dramatically during the course of his tenure with the Chicago Bulls, and including with that, I do not want to see any moves, and I'm going to ask Rob about this. But I do not want to see the Chicago Bulls make any kind of move to move that guy at all, because we've bitched and complained in Chicago about wanting an authentic shooting guard that can score. Well,
Yeah.
yes, Zach LaVine does definitely have his deficits on the defensive end, and they're dramatic and they're terrible.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to tell you right now, he's the best pure scorer that Chicago's had since Michael Jordan. I love Derrick Rose. I loved the excitement from him, but he's the best pure scorer that Chicago's had since Michael Jordan. And you can't get rid of that. Like, I would actually put him up against anybody in the NBA who's a pure scorer. Like, the difference between them is negligible. So I really think so. Currently, right now in the NBA, like
Okay.
what's he averaging? He's averaging like almost 30 points a
26.
game. Is it? 26.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what I looked at was like the last 5, last 8 games.
Oh yeah, the last like 10, he's over 30 almost every time.
So, right. So that
Yeah.
said, the reason why the Bulls, and it's funny because all these people are bitching about like you can't win with him, blah blah blah. The only reason why the Chicago Bulls are in the games that they're in this year is because of Zach LaVine.
Oh, for
So
sure.
so Chicago fans that don't like Zach LaVine, think Zach LaVine's garbage, watch a Chicago Bulls game. The only reason why the Bulls are relevant this year or anywhere near 500 is because Zach LaVine has kept him at that spot.
I would hate to see what that team would look like without Zach LaVine for
They'd
a whole
be, they'd
season.
be trash. They'd be
Y'all would
shit.
be last.
Dude, they would be the 2002 Bulls back when I was in high school, being like, this is garbage. But
Yeah.
anyway, I digress. All right, so let's get to the fun topic that I did actually want to bring up that we started to talk about in the
Yes. Here,
pre-show.
I'll introduce it for you, Bruce.
Please, please, please.
So there was a report. What was that? Tuesday that you sent that to me, or last Tuesday or last night. That there's a certain facility out in the suburbs of Chicago that is going to be up for sale. This facility has been used for a very long time for a specific event. And Bruce has some very strong opinions about that. And given the fact that supposedly, according to certain reports, which I think are BS, but we'll get to that in a little bit, there's a certain high-profile, professional athlete in the sport that Bruce and I think love the most, that apparently Chicago is one of his landing spots. So Bruce thinks it's time for a little bit of an upgrade, and he's going to tell you why.
All right, we won't go. We won't dive into that portion yet. I
know.
want to leave.
That's why I said it second, Bruce. I said it in order.
That's fine.
Calm yourself.
I'm calm, but I'm excited. I'm feeling some vibes. I'm feeling vibe from this bullshit team up here right now.
I had to calm this man down before the show because he was going like full show rants on me, and I'm like, Bruce.
Before I was popping.
Yeah, popping those veins in your freaking forehead.
The V, it's a V.
Yeah, V for veins.
V for vendetta against the Bears. Ooh. So that said, guys. Picture this. So I'm gonna paint a picture for you. I started doing this when we were talking.
Close your eyes.
Don't close your eyes.
Go zen.
No, that's creepy. Think about this. 2027. That's the year.
Okay.
It's Thanksgiving Day. There's NFL football games going on. You're driving down early because you want to. What you want to do is you want to tailgate a little bit for this game. You're driving down to George Papa Bear Halas Stadium, located in Arlington Heights. Again, that's George Halas Stadium in Arlington Heights, where your Chicago Bears and your Green Bay Packers are to face off against each other on Thanksgiving Day on prime time. But hold on. There are ample areas, ample parking for you to tailgate. You can smell the aroma. You can smell the turkeys being in the fryers. You can smell the brats. You can smell the ribs. You have beers flowing. You have friendships. You have anger. You have bags going on for money. Yes, we do that. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful day. 40 degrees out because guess what? It's not that cold yet. But guess what? You look up to this beautiful brand new stadium with the columns from the original Soldier Field there. And you have your Chicago Bears facing off against the Green Bay Packers in a retractable roof stadium in Arlington Heights, Illinois, with ample parking and a great place to be, great football, a turf that's not one of the worst turfs to play on anymore in the NFL. A beautiful, beautiful facility that doesn't have bathrooms. Okay, and I'm going to bring this up. That doesn't have bathrooms to, God bless them. So they're generally speaking, a man can't hold his urine in longer than a woman can. And because of that, they made the mistake at the Soldier Field after the renovation in 2002 to have equal men's and women's bathrooms. God bless. That's awesome. However, That was a mess up. So they ended up finding out that the lines were too long in the men's bathroom. So they needed to convert some of the ladies' bathrooms at Soldier Field to men's bathrooms. I don't know if you knew that, MJ, but it's true. So anyway, as I continue down this road, this all happened. The new George Halas Stadium in Arlington Heights with amazing turf, greatness everywhere. You can smell the hot dogs. You can smell the brats. You can smell the sauerkraut on there. You can smell the onions, the grilled onions, and all of it. It's all great stuff.
Amazing.
Amazing. And all of this started in 2021 when the Chicago Bears somehow, some way pulled off the most craziest of thought, most craziest. That's not even a term. Don't. I'm not. My grammar sucks. But some of the craziest free agent grabs in Chicago Bears history by somehow nabbing Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson comes to the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears somehow end up building off of that and end up getting a beautiful stadium in Arlington Heights, Illinois. We saw it on the north side. We're going to see it on. No.
And Bruce has fallen back to reality.
No. But imagine that, though. If
that would be amazing.
The Chicago Bears actually do something like that to get this fan base excited, to do exactly what the Chicago Cubs did. If you can get a like, they're not going to sell the team. You still have an owner that's like
right.
living back in 1822, and you saw it though with the Cubs. The Cubs made the move. They had a new owner. We talked about last week with Eric. If the Tribune Company was running the franchise on the north side, we'd be like, oh shit. But since it's the Ricketts family, and the Ricketts family put people that know what they're doing in charge, we feel good about the Cubs. We see what they're doing. With the Bears now, to continue down that alley, the Bears they don't have an ownership group or an ownership that's going to hire the proper people to put them in place to not only sign the right people, but also put them in a position to build their own stadium where they don't have to worry about jack shit, where you can hold NCAA tournament. You can hold a WrestleMania. You can have freaking concerts. You can have all of this great things happen in our backyard with actually less taxes than you would have in the city of Chicago. While the only negative aspect to this is you're not going to see the buildings. You're not going to see the gorgeous Chicago skyline.
Big deal.
It's not a big deal.
No, it's not.
So what? The Dallas Cowboys, which are the most lucrative team in the NFL right now, they play in Arlington. They play in Arlington, Texas. They don't play in Dallas. They play in a suburb of Dallas. And then you can keep going down line. The Patriots, they don't they don't play in Boston.
No.
They play in Foxborough. So get it out. Like, Bears fans need to get it out of their mind that the Bears need to stay in Chicago. Do I think that they're going to end up moving to Arlington Heights? No. Do I think they're going to stay in Soldier Field and be the continued mediocre ass team that we've known for decades? Yes. But I'm going to be happy and think to myself, you know what? I'm going to sip this Kool-Aid. I'm going to have some of my beer. I'm going to freaking hope that the Chicago Bears are going to say, F it. They're going to get Russell Wilson, and it's going to springboard them into what the Cubs did and get themselves a banner like this. Done.
So I also have a rant, Bruce, along the lines of Russell Wilson. You know what drives me crazy? And we had this talk last week. And it's the same concept. Russell Wilson has been in Seattle for, I want to say, almost 10 years now. He's been in Seattle for a while. I want to say he was drafted in 2012, so this will be his 10th year with the Seattle Seahawks. Signed a very lucrative extension a little while back, and, he not only has his new offensive coordinator in Seattle, he has pretty big influence on who comes in there in terms of the offense. Granted, I'll give him the one thing I would give Russell Wilson is he's been beaten up a little bit back there for the last 2 years. Their offensive line is very, very bad. However, on our topic of last week, the control that the players have in the NBA, I'm starting to see that in the NFL, and I don't like it. Russell Wilson, you signed your contract. You've been there. You have your own offensive coordinator who you basically handpicked with Pete Carroll and the ownership in Seattle. You have two of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Running backs have been hurt a little bit. Offensive line has been hurt a little bit. But if you didn't trust that organization to get you help, you shouldn't have signed the extension. You're getting paid $30-40 million to play football. And if you don't like it, then don't sign the contract. Unless there is some fundamental issue with what's going on in that organization that you cannot stand with as a man, suit up and play football.
Don't call out a man's masculinity. Come on.
No, I'm talking about like if there's something that like morally bothers him, or like there is a fundamental issue that like goes against who he is as a dude, and like that doesn't have any like that doesn't matter that he's a man. Like it's him as a person. Like, you know, unless there's something like that going on, you sign the contracts. Go play.
Wow.
And for heaven's sakes, don't say you want to go to the Bears. Why would you do that?
Come on. He also said the Cowboys.
I don't know why you would do that either.
On the Raiders.
I don't know why you would do that. Yeah, that's why the report's BS. Like that, and the same thing with JJ. The report earlier today. Bless Diana Rossini, she's fantastic. But she's getting fed information. There is no way on God's green earth that JJ Watt is getting paid $16 million.
No,
that is not happening. That is BS, and we all know it.
Three of his teams, the three teams that the dude like wants to go to, the Packers, Bills, and I think Titans.
Yeah.
I think 2 out of those 3 have salary cap issues.
Yeah, both the Packers and the Bills do not really have money.
They have no room.
No.
Good luck.
And the only reason the Titans have money is because they have Ryan Tannehill on one of the friendliest contracts in the NFL, which props to them. But if I'm JJ Watt, I'm not going to the Titans.
No.
So if he really wants to go to the Packers, the Bills, or personally, I still think the Steelers, like the fact that his 2 brothers are in Pittsburgh, it at least gives them a shot. And
in order to win in the NFL, you need a quarterback.
Right.
Bottom line.
And you know what? And I love Ryan Tannehill, but they're not going to win a Super Bowl with the team they have right now. So if he really wants to win, his best chances are Packers and Bills, and he's not getting $16 million either of those places. The best he's getting is 10.
No, I agree.
That's not going to happen.
I agree with that. All right. Well,
got a little heated there.
We did. Well, I mean, I kind of
did. It's okay.
I calmed it down a little bit after the after my rant about the Bears getting the state going out to Arlington Heights, which they should.
Yeah, it happens.
100%. Oh, if you guys get a chance, I'm gonna put it out there real quick. Adam Hogue actually wrote a great article about the Bears needing to move to Arlington, and he also wrote a great article about since Russell Wilson put it out there that he has the Bears on the list. Just go all in. Say go here.
Honestly, send Khalil Mack. Send them all.
I would 100%. I 100% would.
Yeah, because Russell Wilson. I will say this. Russell Wilson, the things he's been able to do, I mean, he really is one of the few quarterbacks that truly elevates any player. And granted, he's had Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf the last couple of years who are incredible. But even before that, I mean, the man was, he was making Baldwin and Jermaine Kearse look like studs. And the second they left Seattle, none of them had jobs. So
I think Baldwin retired, though, because he had an injury.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But we're gonna have to have our producers check on that.
Yeah, we need a producer. Honestly, how would that work? I'm curious. Let's talk about this. If anybody has any ideas, because I record the Zoom.
I don't think we have the money. I don't think we have the.
I would just have Richie be our producer.
That's fine. I mean, if you would want to do that, I mean, he's getting work experience while he's like here. So
exactly.
I mean, shit,
so I don't know. We'll have to work on that because I don't know logistically how that would work.
Neither do I.
I would have to crop him out somehow or something like that. We'll work on that. No, legitimately. Like I don't know how that would work.
Make his ass blank. Like nope.
Yeah, nope. Black screen. Anyway, before Rob jumps on in a couple minutes. Anything else big happen? Covered Watt, Wilson. Oh, the Texans have just said they're not trading Deshaun Watson. So bless their souls if they think he's gonna play.
Didn't they say the same thing though about Khalil Mack? And I'm not saying the Bears are going to by any means get him. I'm just saying in general,
Did they?
the Raiders said the same thing about Khalil Mack. They're like, we're not interested in trading Khalil Mack.
Well, but I think they said that and that was their stance. The Texans have gone from he's our quarterback to we're taking all the offers to now they're not even answering the phone.
Oh,
They're
really?
sending everyone to voicemail. So I don't know. Clowney to the Packers this offseason on a
ooh,
1 year. Ooh. I wouldn't pay that much for him.
no way, no way. But that's
I'd give him
that'd be a prove it contract.
I'd give him
Oh,
I'd give him 8 with like 4 guaranteed.
yeah.
I'd give
Real
him
quick,
8 with 4 guaranteed for
real,
Jadeveon
real,
Clowney.
real quick. I
But
actually
I would 100%. I mean, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't turn him down. I was talking about
no,
this because I now have 2 Packers podcasts because I don't
he's hurt right now, isn't he?
I don't sleep
Wasn't he?
enough. What?
He was hurt, wasn't he, Clowney?
Yeah, he was hurt for a little bit, and then I think he was in Tennessee this year.
Yeah, he was in Tennessee, but I think he
Yeah, I
got
think he
hurt.
got hurt. I don't know. It was a weird situation. But what I was talking about is, and we can use Jadeveon Clowney or J.J. Watt for this example. I think what the Packers really need, and this may sound stupid because it's obvious, but it really is true, that one of the reasons the Packers corners look so bad this year, like Kevin King was bad last year, but he got saved a lot of the time by the Packers pass rush in 2019. And in 2020, they were just a tick slower and a tick below what they were the year before. So if I could have a line that consists of Zadarius Smith, Kenny Clark, then either Jadeveon Clowney or J.J. Watt, because both of them can play inside and outside, and then Rashawn Gary. That's a line I'm comfortable with, and
All
then
I'm
I'm
saying
not
is
as
thanks for
worried.
Mikey.
What?
All I'm saying is thanks for Mikey.
Mikey who?
Mike Pettine.
Oh, Mike Pettin? You can have him.
Oh, I love
I
it.
would, if I was the
I
Green Bay
love,
Packers organization, I
I
would pay the
love
Chicago
it.
Bears. I would
That is
love your
not true
defense to
at
look like
all.
ours.
You do okay. So I'm gonna go in.
I would love your defense to look like ours. Please.
I'm gonna dive into this. I'm gonna dive into that more going into next week because the Packers defense actually improved from off the top of my head. I have to look more into it, but from what I recall, the Packers defense improved a lot under his tutelage.
Well, yeah,
Correct
because
me.
they were like 25th. So I would hope so. But I don't care if the defense improves during the regular season.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
they shut down the Rams. Cool. Proud of you. And then you just have embarrassing play calls
My
against Tom
guy.
Brady and the Buccaneers. Nothing Mike Pettin did this year impressed me. You want to know why they got
How
better
are
in
we
the second
going
half
down
of
the
the year?
Packers
No,
rabbit
no, no,
hole?
no,
We were
no.
supposed to
You want
stay
to
away
know?
from the.
You want to know why the freaking Packers defense got better in the second half of the year? Not because of Mike Pettin, but because the Smith brothers went to him and said, "Here is the scheme we need to run. Yours is not working. It sucks." And he said, "Okay, cool," and started running their scheme. He had to be
He
told by the players
awesome job, and
themselves
that's
that
fine.
he
But and
sucked.
that's fine. You know how many times I've been wrong as a coach, and I've been told by my players that we need to run something different.
Okay,
His is just more public.
okay, but I'm telling you, he is not. He is not going to make your Chicago defense better. They were average this year. They're going to be average again. I mean, him coming in as an assistant is not going to do anything because you're still going to have the same fundamental issues on that Bears defense.
Is a senior analyst. I don't even know.
He's a senior defensive consultant.
Yeah, I
Cool,
was gonna say
cool.
I don't even remember what the hell the title is.
Something like
Honestly,
that.
honestly, I really think I think what it is because when all the coaches have their meetings, they're gonna be asking they're totally just like they want to beat the Packers. And I get that. That's the main thing. And because I honestly the Packers have been so good for so long that you beat the Packers, you're gonna be
Well, here's the
relevant.
thing.
Relevant in that hold on. Like they're gonna be relevant in the NFC. Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, but bringing in Mike Pettin is not going to beat the Packers.
But it doesn't matter. But oh, you
I
can't. Well,
like
no.
no, I'm saying I understand the reasoning.
Right.
It's just
But
crappy reasoning. Because Mike Pettin doesn't even know the Packers scheme because it
any
wasn't even his
opportunity,
scheme.
any opportunity you have that you're going to take because
So you're saying the Bears should just sit outside Lambeau Field and wait for coaches to get fired and be like, "Come here."
No,
regardless
because
of
like,
talent.
well, no, okay, so I think that's going a little bit to an extreme. But at the same time, though, I think Mike Patton, like he is a knowledgeable coach, and he's able to bring something to the table.
He
When you have a rookie, defensive coordinator taking
okay.
over currently. That's the reason why they did actually hire him.
The
But at
The Browns defense got worse when he was there.
at the same time, it was a perk for them to hire him from the Packer. It was because you're able to like see you're Homer ass.
No, I would love like okay, if it really was a good hire,
I
I'd be
mean,
like, yeah, you stole him. If he was really that good, I'd be pissed that he left. I was dancing in the streets when he left.
I was dancing in the streets. That's
Metaphorically, of course. Okay,
oh,
we'll save this for later. I'm bringing
I
Rob in. This is
fair enough.
BS.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't know
get
what
Rob
Bruce
in.
is
Like,
on.
please, Rob, come in and help the shenanigans of.
I don't know what Bruce is on here.
I don't know what the hell this guy's on.
Rob, I need help. Bruce is on something today.
Oh no.
What's going on, guys?
He is on something today. How's it going, Rob?
Chilling. How about you guys?
Oh, hanging in there, Rob.
I'm just yelling at him about the Bears.
Oh yeah, what's going on now? Big day. Big
See,
day.
right? No,
Russell
so
Wilson.
wants to be a Bear. He wants to be a Bear,
he also wants to be a Cowboy. He wants to be a Raider.
but he
So-
also doesn't want to leave the Seahawks, I guess. So I
Right.
don't-
They were like, we're not asking for a trade, but if we were, here's a couple
Here are the
places
places
we'd be
that I
okay
could
with.
potentially go.
Although,
very
depending
bizarre.
on which insider you ask, it's like 4 different places.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it sounds like we should all get our hopes up. That sounds like it's the best.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I just went on a rant earlier in the show talking about how making the very small correlation to the Chicago Cubs about how they got a major contract or major free agent splash with Lester,
Mhm.
and then seeing hopefully the Bears make a major trade or free agent splash to get a significant quarterback or somebody that can help at that position, and then also having the chance to purchase land in Arlington Heights to build a stadium called George Halas Stadium, and actually have some relevancy and bring something bigger to that franchise. And then again, to go back to the Cubs similarities, all the improvements they've made to Wrigley Field. So
Mhm.
that was pipe dreaming. I'm pipe dreaming. It's okay. I like it. I acknowledge it. However, it'd be an awesome thing to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I hope they figure it out, man, because it's been a talented team for a couple of years, and I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Bulls situation where it's just like you love the team, you connect with a lot of the players, and the roster has talent on it, but just the management is not
Right.
not trustworthy. I guess we could put it like that. So
that is the reason why you, sir, are a professional, and that was a phenomenal segue.
there you go. Exactly. Let's get back in my lane because
So, Rob, tell us about
Yeah.
some of that talent. Your new all-star.
sure. Yeah, Zach was named an all-star a couple days ago for the first time in his career. Obviously a big deal for him. And I mean, I don't even think it's that outlandish to say, a pretty big deal for the Bulls. I mean, he is someone that's been on the fringe of that stratosphere, I think, since last year. You know, I remember writing at the time last year when he was in competition for a spot that I just didn't think he was quite over the hump of being more deserving. You know, it's one thing to be deserving. It's another thing to be more deserving than the, 12 other people that you're competing with, because there's only 12
Right.
spots for this thing. I don't think it was a major injustice that he wasn't named last year, because the team was so bad and he just wasn't, he was certainly producing and having the best season of his career, but this year it's been to a completely other level. I mean, his efficiency is just out of control. Low 50s from the field, low 40s from three on incredibly high volume, and over 85% from the free throw line. Those are historic levels of efficiency for the amount that he's scoring, almost 29 a game. To between 5 and 10 ranked in the NBA for most of the season. His playmaking, I mean, he's averaging over 5 assists. That's a career high. And I think the eye test supports that his passing and just his general organization offensively and awareness and floor reading has been a market step up this year. So has on the defensive end. I mean, I'm not saying he's an overwhelming positive on that end, but he's not as much a negative as he used to be, and has flashes, has moments there. And the Bulls are winning. I mean, I get it that it's 15 and 16, but when you look at the teams around them in the Eastern Conference, They're in that 6th seed right now. They're right in the thick of things. They're completely competitive. They're in pretty much every game and have even picked up some quality wins this year over a team like the Pacers, that Blazers win at the beginning of the season. I just think all those factors, when you boil it all down, it was much deserved for him. Again, means a lot to him personally. He'll enjoy the trip down to Atlanta, I'm sure, even if it's not going to be the same as a regular All-Star weekend. But it just adds another notch in his belt for being a long-term answer for this franchise, which this year started pretty much a question of everybody on the roster. Are they going to be a long-term fit? And to me, if I'm the one making the decisions, Zach has proven enough to me so far that I'm really, really, really intent on doing that, on keeping him around as a fixture of this franchise, and then trying to fill in around him, because he's just proven that he could be a winning player at this point. To me, it's about the players around him and putting him in context where his strengths can be best accentuated.
No, 100%. So one of the questions that I did want to ask you, I was really looking forward to you jumping on with us, is the national audience now, and including NBA players, have kind of acknowledged the strength of Zach LaVine now with scoring and all that. Do you think now that the trade deadline coming up or anything like that, he's at the highest right now he could possibly be, not possibly, but he's at a very high point right now if they were to wish to trade him? I don't want to see it happen. What's your thoughts on that thought? Do you think that the Chicago Bulls are thinking about getting rid of that guy? Because I've heard some reports about them possibly trying to rebuild and try to get draft picks and get younger, even more younger than what they already are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just because we're still learning this new regime. We haven't seen them go through a trade deadline yet. We've only really seen this offseason where they didn't do much. They mostly stood pat, and I think the reason behind that was to get a fully formed picture of the roster itself, see everybody play together. And in terms of Zach at the deadline, I mean, I suppose I see part of the argument for the side that maybe, you want to maximize the asset. I mean, look at the going rate for stars at this point. Like Drew Holiday just fetched 4 firsts and 3 swaps. And
right.
I mean, look at the haul a guy like Harden got, and things up and down those lines. I just think he's transcended that at this point, and the team is so competitive that, I mean, even guys like a Thad Young, who people have floated trading, to me, I would just be so hesitant to do that because of the wave that they're on right now, where all the young guys that are playing, I mean, Lowry's obviously been out, but are just developing at a rate, and you can just see how winning and being under a coach of Billy Donovan who can instill those winning habits, you're seeing the exponential effect that can have on a young team. And I just don't see any reason to break it up at this point when you have a good thing going. And then beyond that, I just, I just think this city not that long ago was in, and I'm not saying Zach LaVine is Jimmy Butler by any stretch of the imagination, but the Bulls and this city and this fan base were in a situation sort of similar to this a couple years ago with the Jimmy Butler thing, where it was, well, we love Jimmy, but can he be the number one on a championship contending team? And if he can't, we're just going to turn the whole thing over and, invest in the future and get a bunch of bites at the apple in the draft and get some young players and just see what happens there. And, they wandered in the wilderness for 3 or 4 years, kind of searching for a player as good as a Jimmy Butler. I worry about the risk of trading a guy like Zach LaVine now when he's 25 and still only getting better, and really has proven that you can't put a ceiling on his game at this point. I worry about the risk of trading a guy like that and then spending another half decade wandering in the wilderness looking for a player as good as Zach LaVine when you had the guy in your building. You had him in a situation where he was still going to continue growing, and you could build for him for the future while also competing a little bit in the present. So to me, it's just it's a little bit too rich for my blood. I think there's a good thing going right now, and I think the front office regime, and if it was me, I would be looking to build around him as opposed to trying to get off of him. I suppose I see the argument really for doing anything at this point because it's a rebuild, and everyone has different philosophies on it. But if it was me, that's the route I would take.
If they're a 6th seed, Rob, should they really be in a rebuild? Because the East, outside of Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, which are clearly the top tier, the East is not good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can you even say you're in a rebuild when you're the 6th seed?
Definitely. I mean, I think just because of the age of the roster. I mean, when you look at just the fact that they're starting 5 other than Zach, when Lowry's healthy, is all guys aged 23 or younger. So to me, that's almost the ideal scenario that you want to be in. I mean, you look at a team like Boston, who went through a similar kind of process a couple years ago. They were able to not really ever fall out of the playoff picture for an extended period of time, but still, quote unquote, rebuild and come out the other side. And obviously they had all the high draft picks from the Nets, which makes that a complete anomaly in a totally different situation. But a couple teams have done that, and coincidentally, these are teams that have made big splashes in free agency, the Clippers, the Nets, like those types of teams. So I do think you could still call it a rebuild, even if you're like in the thick of the playoff picture like that and in the middle of the Eastern Conference playoff picture. The caveat, of course, is that we'll just see how this sustains. We're halfway through the season coming up on, and you can't forecast that this is necessarily where they're going to be for the rest of the season. I think the last time I was on with you guys, I was very, very hesitant to pick them as even a play-in team.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Believe me.
And to be honest, as great as it's looked to this point, I still think there's reason to be a little. You don't want to jump the gun with this team because they are so young and there have been so many ups and downs. The thing I'll say though is just for this rebuild, the amount of winning that they've done, even to only be 15-16, for them to be 8-5 in this month and have won 5 of their last 6, and to have the morale be so high over a consistent period of time. That is like unprecedented for this rebuild. So we are kind of seeing it's really an indictment of how the last couple of years have gone. But the stretch that they're in right now is really the most success that they've had in the last 3 or 4 years. So we'll see if it sustains. But I absolutely think if they end up in that 6 to 8 spot, you can still call it a rebuild. And it's honestly the best kind of rebuild because you're able to show that these guys are good enough to compete and win a little bit in the league, but they are still young enough where they have room to continue growing as well. So to me, that's almost the ideal scenario.
So let's keep going off the roster comment about a rebuild. Lauri Markkanen, without him, they've shown significant growth. Mm-hmm. What do you think it would take for him to actually come back to this team? Because I don't think he'll be back next year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's going to depend on, or you would think it would depend on what he looks like when he comes back. And now it looks like that might not happen until after the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. By the time he does come back, he will certainly have missed more games than he's appeared in this year. And like, while on an individual basis, he's looked great in Billy Donovan's offense. Like, he's never shot the ball better. He's averaging a career high in scoring. It's undeniable that the team is now, in the last 10 games that they've been without him, are 7-3. Like, there are circumstantial things there with, they've faced some shorthanded opponents. It's been a little bit of a soft spot in the schedule. They got Wendell Carter Jr. back in the middle of that, and they had been playing with Lowry and without Wendell, and Wendell's obviously a big piece. But I mean, just as an observer, if I was a fan or if I was a front office person, I'd be kind of looking at this and like raising an eyebrow at this point where it's like, you have to ask the question now, which if you're Lauri Markkanen and you were betting on yourself this season and looked to be doing everything you could because he was playing so well early in the year to get that big payday at the end of this, to have to bet on yourself and do it fruitfully, it looked like he was on track to do that. And if I'm him now, I'm probably a little bit more tight about that because this team just looks to be at worst surviving without him and at best thriving without him. So I'm not willing to say that they're better without Lauri Markkanen because I think, who knows, he could come back and he could only make this team better. And then you have an ideal situation yet again. But the fact that it's even a question at this point, I think doesn't bode well necessarily for his future with the Bulls. Again, I don't know. And everything that they've said about Lauri has been overwhelmingly positive. Mm-hmm. They did try to, obviously negotiate with him to get a long-term agreement in the offseason. The front office said all the right things about him wanting him to be here long-term. Billy Donovan has said all the right things about putting him in positions to succeed. They value, his floor spacing and his ability to create mismatches, especially when he's at the center spot. Like, they're saying all the right things. We will just see, when it comes, decision-making time, whether it be the deadline, whether it be the offseason, like, if this team proves over a long enough sample that it's good without him or thriving without him, and then, he comes back and it doesn't really change much, to me, that's something that I'm taking into serious consideration. And not for nothing, Patrick Williams starting at the power forward spot has looked more than capable to me. I mean, he's had his up and downs in his rookie year, but he has shown a lot to me starting at that 4 spot and coming out of the draft. I was wondering if he was really a 4 in the NBA long-term. And that might be true. And if that's the case, you got a log jam. And I think if it came down to one of those 2 players, I mean, the guy you drafted is obviously going to get the first look there. So it's a sticky situation. There's no way around it.
So one of the things that I've noticed during the course of the Bulls' recent surge is the play of Kobe White. He's very on and off. He's very hot, cold. I made the terrible comparison earlier in the year. Yeah. And I'll admit it. I was wrong. It is what it is. Whatever.
Wait, can you say that again, just for the clip?
God, whatever. Shut up. But my question to you though, Rob, is
And that is way worse than me thinking the Bulls might not be a
got
playoff
it,
team.
yeah.
To be fair.
Hey, but you're covering
Yeah,
them,
Rob,
so.
pile it on.
Yeah.
No, but legitimately though, are they a better team with a pure point guard at that spot instead of having a guy that's just like a microwave scorer type person?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think in the immediate, like right now, there are, metrics and there's, you watch the games and it just seems like the team is a little bit more organized with a guy like Tomas Satoransky out there, for example, because they kind of do. I mean, he's not a long-term answer, obviously, but he is kind of that stopgap, like true point guard that they have on the roster. So I think you could make that argument over an extended sample size. Now, Kobe has been playing a lot better of late. His finishing to me has gotten a lot better. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well last night in their game, but had been shooting it a little bit better recently. I see, I get that people have in their mind, and it does, again, it's not a knock on him as a player. It doesn't mean he's not a useful or high potential player. People have kind of formulated in their mind that, okay, he's not necessarily going to be a true point guard. He's more of a combo guy, playing a little bit on and off the ball. He'll be able to play make a little bit, but really is more of a scorer. I just look at it as he's 20 and he's getting this opportunity, and it's been a really adverse kind of circumstance for him where he really didn't get to start until the end of last year. Offseason is really all over the place. He's never really played this point guard position in his life. And now maybe that's an argument for, okay, well, how do we know he's going to develop into it? The thing that I've always said about Kobe is just you see the work ethic and you see the ways that he's improved since he got into the league, in October of 2019. I just don't see any reason why this is still an evaluation year. I know that they're winning, but it is still an evaluation year. Like, ride it out with him there, and I think it's only going to do good for him. I think he's made some strides in the playmaking department, and we'll see if he improves. I mean, he's gotten a little bit more consistency recently. Billy Donovan and some players have talked about, that there's been a little bit of a conscious decision to vary his touches so that he's, a little bit more off the ball, and then they'll bring him up. And then, when that opens some stuff up for him, they'll bring him in and have him, continue to do some of the lead guard playmaking stuff. And I think it's been a good mix for him lately. Because obviously before last night he had been shooting it a little bit better. Looked great getting downhill last night. Obviously the turnovers are what they are, and Zach had a bad turnover night too, and Billy talked about that post game. But it's the tough balance for this team because you can see the ways that they're competitive and that they can be a good basketball team right now. But at the same time, if you're management, if you're the coaching staff, if you're the players on the roster, you have to invest in the young, high potential talent that you have. Kobe as a person and as a worker and as, a basketball talent is obviously worth investing in to me. And to me, that means riding out the starting thing and just seeing where it goes. To me, I've seen the little bits of improvement, and I don't see why he couldn't keep improving. I get the urgency to want to get more of a true guy in there now. I just am not as urgent about it because I think it's possible to win in the NBA these days without a guy that's as true of a point guard as a Chris Paul. The Bulls get playmaking from all over the place. We've seen Thad be an incredible passer for them this year. Zach has done some playmaking.
Thad Magic.
Thadgic Johnson. Wendell has taken a step forward as a facilitator. So I think what they're doing is working right now. And, when you have these young, high potential players, you have to throw them into the fire. Kobe loves to be thrown into the fire. That's something he's made really clear. And I don't see why I don't see why you would bet on him not improving at this point. So I'm willing to see it out.
So, Rob, I'm going to put you on the spot because we enjoy doing that here. And it gives us clips for when you come back. So I know you said we're not really sure what this regime is going to do at the trade deadline. But I'm going to ask what Rob would do at the trade deadline. With the position the Bulls are in right now, I give you one move. What would you do at the deadline?
I would probably try to find a taker for Otto Porter Jr.'s expiring. And
that's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. The problem with that is I don't want to take on too much long-term money, so maybe actually I would just ride that out. With one move, I mean, you'd have to almost put it on, you'd almost have to put the move in front of me and say yes or no, would you do that? But right now, I don't think I would be envisioning much major outside of, a fringe move like that. I think the Thad thing at this point, honestly, unless I'm getting, it sounds crazy, but unless I'm getting multiple picks for him at this point, I'm not trading Thad Young right now. I'm not.
Is Thad under contracts moving forward?
for next year. He has a partial guarantee.
Okay.
So that's what is kind of that enhances his trade value because he's playing so well right now, and you don't necessarily have to worry about him being a rental if you're a contending team trading for him. But for me, like, I just think Thad on the court makes guys so much better. He's especially a great pick and roll partner for Zach and has been so great playmaking when Zach has to dump it off to him out of double teams. Is such a great mentor for the young bigs that they have, the Wendell Carter Jr.'s, the Patrick Williamses. I think just on and off the court, he's making this team so much better in the immediate future and then in the player development kind of long-term future that, I don't know, the new regime has said so much that they value player development. The players are finally developing because they're winning games.
True.
And because guys like Thad and Garrett Temple and, Zach and everybody down the line has been so crucial to that, I would be really hard-pressed to break that up. Just because the buy-in under Billy Donovan has been so strong. Like, what message do you send to players if you now shatter the whole thing? Like, I don't know. I just would worry about breaking the resolve of the team. I would worry about stunting player development that's happening right now. I would be, and maybe I'm a coward, but I think I would be honestly a stand pat guy or a fringe move guy if I was running the Bulls right now, just because, this season doesn't have to be, you don't have to get into the top half of the East. You don't have to win a playoff series. If you're playing playoff games at all, I think that does a tremendous amount for the development of this team. It's clear that the players have their eyes set on that. And I would lean in. And, I know there are a lot of Bulls fans that feel the same way because it's just been so long since there's been basketball that inspires hope in this fan base.
True.
So there's reason I think that can be an acceptable strategy and you could still build for the future, but prioritize the talent that you have on the roster now and see what you can develop it into.
So there's a few questions that we have in our Twitch chat. Rob, one of them was who gets the most credit for the Bulls' improvement this season, new coach or the veteran players?
Yeah, I'm so bad at like black and white questions because I want to have the nuance to it.
I agree. It's kind of a gray area type question.
I want to say, what's the biggest thing that's different? The coaching staff. So that's really where my mind first goes. At the same time, I don't want to take agency away from the players. Like, the players still have to put in the work. Right. And, commit to implementing the things the coaching staff is saying and everything like that. So, like, Billy even says it all the time when people ask what's different about Zach this year. He's like, Zach had to make the decision to, shift his mentality fully to winning, add all these components to his game, become a more efficient scorer, become a better passer, become a better defender. But really, the biggest variable that's changed is the coaching staff. So I have to say, from the culture that they've set to the way it's trickling down throughout the roster, and they're winning close games now, which is something they weren't doing last year. Mm-hmm. There's the rotations have been a lot better, I think, just in terms of organizing playing time and trying things out and pushing buttons and seeing what works. So, my mind at first goes to the coaching staff. On the floor, though, guys like Thad and Garrett Temple and Tomas Satoransky, like, the young guys will have, and Zach, obviously, I think I consider him a veteran at this point. The younger guys will have their ups and downs, but those guys are so steady on a night-to-night basis that they, to me, are really the linchpin of what's keeping them in games. So I'd probably split the share about evenly between the coaching staff and the veterans.
That's fair. So go ahead, MJ. Sorry.
I was going to say the other question we had kind of along the lines, you wanted a trade scenario presented to you. So I'm going to extend a little bit on a trade scenario in the chat.
Good stuff.
So somebody said, let Zach run point, trade for Marcus Smart, let Kobe White run the bench unit for developmental purposes, let him grow at his own pace. So the trade I will present to you is, because we were having the discussion earlier, when with Markkanen gone, the team has improved. Some sort of package revolving around Markkanen for Marcus Smart. What do you think of that?
I guess I'm intrigued if I'm the Bulls. The problem with me with that scenario is the Celtics, I think, hang up the phone immediately. I mean, they're trying to. Really,
yeah.
Right? I don't even think that's not even meant to be a knock on Lauri Markkanen. It's just the position that the Celtics are in right now, as bad as they've been lately. Like, I still think they fancy themselves title contenders. Like, I think they're going to be looking for more,
for some reason,
kind of bring in a guy to the rotation for draft capital with that traded player exception that they have. I don't think they're looking to take on like a more long-term prospect, like a guy like Lauri at this point. Smart is just so important. He's like the heart and soul of their team. He's been hurt, and that's kind of coincided with their slide. So for me, I'm just like, I've actually said this for a long time. The city of Chicago would absolutely love a guy like Marcus Smart if he was on this team.
Yeah.
Like, he would, I think, would resonate with the fan base immediately. He would really, really help a team like the Bulls. I just don't see the Celtics getting out of bed for an offer like that when they're trying to win now, and Smart is so important to them doing that. it's hard for me to get past that. But if I'm the Bulls, yeah, certainly I'm intrigued by that. I love watching Smart play.
Okay, I like it.
A guy, Stacey King said hard hat lunch pail guy, and Marcus Smart is definitely that dude.
He fits. Yeah, he fits that description.
Definitely that dude. Oh, that's good. So I'm gonna put you on the spot again.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna ask it. We only got 5 more minutes left with you, man. So I'm gonna ask the question. Are the Chicago Bulls an 8 seed this year in the Eastern Conference? Come on, Rob.
An 8 seed or greater.
I just can't. I can't keep flip flopping every time I come on the show, man. You guys give me just enough time to flip flop, and then you bring me back.
And last time you said no.
We space you out.
I always try to couch it. The second half of the schedule is really tough.
It's tough. The first 5 games after the break.
Yeah. They get the Nets, Raptors, Heat. They also, to close the season, they have 4 straight. 2 against the Nets and 1 against the Bucks, or 3 of those 4. Like, if it comes down to the wire for them, it's going to be really, really tough down the stretch.
They have They've had the 4th easiest schedule in the NBA.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any easier.
No,
I still would feel better about if you extended it to 10 or higher. Like if they're going to be in the play-in or better, I would feel like slam dunk 100% confident about betting on that. 8 seed. I need to see this hot stretch right now where it's been a lot of shorthanded and inferior opponents. I need to see that translate to a tougher stretch of the schedule. I have a very high opinion of this team. I think they've come a long way. They've improved a lot, but there's just a lot of quality opponents down the stretch. So I need to see it bear out a little bit more before I go 100% on that. So on the spot, I would probably say no, but I'm completely ready to be proven wrong there. Just need to see the tiniest bit more, just the tiniest bit more.
That's fair.
That's fair. So
it's tight in that Eastern Conference. There's a lot of teams within like 1 or 2 games of each other. The positioning is changing every day.
1 or 2. So nationally, what are your? So MJ and I have been going back and forth with each other for the past 2 weeks about the MVP race. Do you got a top 3 for us?
Yeah, I guess LeBron slipped a little bit ever since the Davis injury. They've kind of swooned a little bit. To me, I'd probably look at a guy like Embiid right now. He'd probably be my top choice, and then I'd fill out that top 3 with LeBron and Jokic. Just on the fringes there, though, like I think what Steph is doing with that Golden State team.
I never said that he's not. Sorry, Rob, my bad.
Steph and Damian Lillard, I would say, with all the injuries Portland has, for them to be doing what they're doing right now is unbelievable. So they are like right there. Luckily, it's only halfway through the season, so we'll see how it goes, but. It's not just because the Bulls played the Sixers the other night and Embiid dropped a career high 50. Like for them to be at the top of the East and he's putting up the historic numbers he is, like he's closing in on breaking Wilt Chamberlain records for free throw attempts for 36 minutes. Like he's just been unbelievable. He's totally put it all together this year. So he's my front runner right now, but it's a crowded field. There's just with this early in the season and with kind of the amount of craziness that's gone on with no fans and it just being a wonky season. There's a lot of it might be one of the more hotly contested MVP races, I think, in recent memory.
Well, it's absolutely contested and I've been yelling at Bruce about this, so I'm just gonna give my chance because I know Rob agrees with me usually.
Hey, I have not been against it. I have not been against what you've said. That's Bruce. Not true whatsoever.
Can I talk now, Bruce?
Sorry, I haven't been against it.
But Curry is averaging his numbers from his unanimous MVP season.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's getting
100%.
nothing. Awesome. He doesn't have Clay. He I mean, no disrespect to the guys on the roster right now, but it's nothing like they had that season, and he's doing it all on his own. So yeah, I don't understand the lack of him being in that conversation.
Yeah, he just absolutely should be in the conversation to me. That's exactly. I wish I'd made that point because that is the point that I use whenever I talk about this. Is he's like basically putting up identical numbers to that unanimous MVP season. I mean, it's a team success thing. MVP boils down so much to that, and it's just a little bit different because of the complementary pieces around him. But it makes the Clay thing. I think we talked the day after the Clay injury, or somewhere very soon after the Clay injury.
Yeah, because it was a couple days after the draft. And
after the draft, exactly. Yeah. It just makes that so much more of a knife through the heart because they could add such a wrinkle to the playoffs this year if they had all the pieces together. So I hope the window isn't closed by the time they get it all back together next year.
And honestly, right now,
that'll be a tough one to see go.
They're at 18-15. They haven't lost more than 2 games straight, So I mean, I'll be honest. If
They haven't won more than 2 games straight either, though, right?
we don't have to
Didn't
talk-
I,
we don't.
didn't I see that?
You were
Rob, we don't
inflating-
have to talk about that. They've
You-
won 2 games straight right now, so if they win their next game, that might happen. But no, honestly, if I get the Warriors against like a Utah Jazz, if they're somehow the 1 seed, I could see that happening. I think the Jazz are frauds. I don't think.
Oh wow.
I don't think they are anywhere near one of the top teams in the NBA.
Whoa.
Not at all.
I cannot get down with that thing.
I
mean,
will say
Okay,
it till the
first-
day I die.
First round exit 1-8. I'm not there with the Jazz. I still am not taking them over the Lakers, like especially if they get everybody back healthy. But first round exit is that's a little rich for my blood when it comes to the Jazz. I love what they've been doing.
Spider, dude. I love the Spider.
I mean, I love him too, but I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe I haven't watched enough. Maybe I need to do some more research. But I'm gonna throw out Bruce's favorite 2 words. They don't pass the eye test.
Ooh, eye test.
That was like 9 words. What do you?
No, the eye test. Rob, get out of here.
That's
That was
about
Rob
as strong an
Schaefer,
ending as
everybody.
I've had. That's about as strong an ending as I've had.
That was good. That's fair. That's fair.
Oh,
All right, guys.
I love it.
Always good to chop it up. I will talk to you guys later.
Rob, thank you again as always, brother.
Thank you, sir. Oh my gosh, that's why I love Rob so much, because
Good cat. Great dude.
he just gives us crap, and it's fantastic.
Because he's a professional, you're a semi-professional, and I'm just
And
a
there's
jack
Bruce.
here.
Bruce, before we let all the good people in the stream go, any last words?
Let's go. And great show tonight. Great show tonight.
Absolutely.
Chicago Bears getting Russell Wilson. The freaking
Moving to
Bulls.
Arlington.
Moving to Arlington. The Bulls are gonna be the 8th seed, and let's go.
Yeah, all I have to say is we've had incredible viewership numbers. I'm very excited to look at our numbers tonight. I think Bruce is going to lose his mind when he sees how many people we've had in here tonight. So thank you to everybody watching. Make sure to follow if you have not already. We appreciate everybody, including all of the young gentlemen who've been in here in the
It's
last
hilarious.
few minutes.
I don't even
I
know
love
that.
it. I love
found
it.
it.
Make sure to tune in, follow every week, have those notifications on so you can come and listen every single week. It has been fantastic. With that,
Great
we
show.
will see you next Thursday.
Let's go. Third down Thursdays, guys. Peace.